Hey, wait, before we get into the episode, I want to share some exciting news with you. My new book comes out September 30th, and it's called Less Lost, Finding and Being Yourself in the Wilds of Ordinary Life. It's part memoir, part field guide to being yourself in a world that keeps asking you to be someone else. And in it, I share stories from yoga sessions, motorcycle rides, encounters in nature, and even a run-in with the Dalai Lama. And every chapter pairs a story with an embodied practice or tool you can actually use in your own life. Not to fix yourself or chase perfection, but to reclaim forgotten parts of who you are, stand in discomfort without disappearing, and belong to yourself without losing connection. Less Lost drops September 30th, and I can't wait for you to grab a copy for yourself and maybe one for a friend who could use the reminder, you don't need to fix yourself. You just need to find your way back to being yourself. All right, now on to the show. Hey friend, welcome back to Hey Wait. You know this. I know this. Change is messy. Like really messy. In real life, it is not the glowy before and after montage. It's the middle part that's gooey and sticky and uncomfortable and awkward. And most of us would rather not sign up for that kind of mess, especially to do it in public. Because it's one thing to do your inner work in the privacy of your therapist or coach's office. And it's another thing to do it where people can see you. To let people witness your growth spurts, your backslides, your I thought I knew better moments. Which is exactly why I love today's guest, Erin Washington. She's the host of the top 1% podcast called thERINpy. Get it? Erin, therapy, thERINpy, where she has mental health professionals come on as guests so she can literally do live therapy and coaching on her podcast so other people can feel seen and less alone while they see her process in real time. Erin's also the author of From Pain to Purpose, Finding Meaning in the Mess. She's a media personality, a former Division I athlete, a single mom of two balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship, and the founder of Blue Butterfly Foundation that provides mentorship and advocacy to teen girls struggling with body image, comparison, and self-worth. But more than anything, Erin is an open book. And today I get to do some live coaching with her around something I imagine you might be able to relate to. Knowing better, but not being able to do better. And that's all because your nervous system hijacks you and keeps you in overfunctioning and survival mode, rather than operating from all the smart stuff you've learned in therapy and coaching and self-help books over all the years. I take Erin through some simple practices to help her regulate her nervous system so she can come back to herself and all of her knowing. So if you feel like you often get hijacked by your nervous system, or you keep doing old behaviors that you know aren't serving you, but you just can't seem to change them, join Erin and I today and make a bid to your nervous system to settle. It's my hope that your messy parts feel seen and understood and helped by today's episode. Now that we've talked about boobs and eyebrows and all the things, we can get started, right?
That's how I like to start every interview. I talk about my boobs and my eyebrows, and then I just feel more comfortable with the host. I feel very comfortable here.
I don't know why that's where we started, but it is. And I'm happy that was not recorded. I'm happy that you're here. And I feel like you're a woman after my own heart, Erin Washington.
Same. Should we shout out Erin Brennan for bringing us together?
Yeah, I was going to say the other Erin. Thank you, Erin Brennan, for connecting us. Because when I learned about your work, I was like, okay, so this woman is really smart. This woman is someone who cares about people, cares about, like, really values growth and authenticity. And you've struggled with perfectionism, body image, self-worth, going through a divorce in your 40s, like so many different things that either I've struggled with myself or the people I work with do. And here's the kicker, though. You actually talk about it in public. You're like, hey.
It's the only way I know.
Well,
it
actually,
makes it worth something to do that. You have to talk about it, or it was like, what was the point of all that? And it's all just like sad and dark. But if you make it mean something and you help someone else out of it, yes, exactly. Then you have to talk about it.
Well, so this actually was the first question I had in mind. And I was like, I wasn't quite sure how to get there. But the question I had for you was, so you've said that your purpose, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but that your purpose is to be on this planet to show up authentically and organically so other women feel seen and not alone.
100%.
And I'm curious when you started doing that. Like, when did you start doing that? Maybe not consciously, because I think you've talked about knowing it was conscious in the pandemic, but my sense of your story is you were doing it a long time before then.
I honestly was not doing it a long time before then. I had my son, my second child, at 36. And after I had him, honestly, it's not like I feel like the right answer, the answer that you expect to hear or you should share. But when I got my body in check, my physical body, I was more comfortable in my own skin. That was the thing that was looming over me. I felt like I was doing everything right. I was over exercising, under eating, doing what women are taught. And when I finally just trusted a trainer at a gym that was like, you need to eat more and you need to lift and get off the cardio machines, I changed my body and I got more confident. And because I wasn't confident in my body, I wasn't sharing before. It did take that. I wish it was a different answer. But when I got confident in my body and that body image like stuff wasn't looming anymore, everything else opened up. I had more time to like look at other aspects of my life, my relationships. And I started just sharing the journey. Honestly, my show used to be called Squats and Margaritas. My first book was called Squats and Margaritas. And the intent was for other women to be able to find their best body because they're probably doing it the same way that I was. And, I can now help the women. I found out it's lift heavy and eat all the time. So I started an Instagram to inspire women to find their best physical body. And when my first book came out, admittedly, the eating disorder community came for me saying this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. What she's saying is not in line with how professionals see eating disorder recovery. That's the point that I leaned in, like, this is my story. This is how I changed my life. This is how I live now. And just that's been my mantra, just sharing exactly how I live. Initially, it was to help women find their best body, but now it's to help women find purpose. And I didn't find mine until the body image stuff was off of me. And I feel that a lot of women who aren't profoundly lit up by what they're doing, if they haven't found it yet, it's a lot of times in the dark stuff that they've been through and that they've kind of put away and didn't want to talk about. Again, I wasn't going to talk about my eating disorders. I struggled with anorexia and bulimia. And when I shared that in my first book, it became lighter. It's not as heavy. I talk about it very casually. And I found that my purpose came from that dark time where I know what it's like. I talk about it and show how I came out of it. And now other women trust me and they want to talk to me about it instead of someone that hasn't been through something. So when I get the DMs and the reviews, I know that my purpose was to go through what I went through, share the journey and experience so that maybe someone who isn't willing to be vulnerable yet can listen to my vulnerability and be inspired without having to be vulnerable themselves.
That doesn't depend upon letters after your name. That depends upon you've been there. You've been in the dark places.
That was a journey. To take it a step forward, I created a nonprofit for teenage girls based on exactly what you were just saying. Like, I thought you had to go to a person with letters. And I pictured when I was struggling, my mom knew I was struggling and she's like, you need to go talk to someone. I pictured a man with a clipboard, like, tell me about your body image. And I'm like, you don't get it. So I said, there needs to be a place where women like me in their 40s who have been through that exact thing that you're struggling with. We have women that talk about sexual identity or being in like volatile relationships, not domestic abuse. I mean, these are teenage girls, but like not being treated the right way. I talk about eating disorder recovery, and these girls, they come in, Jay, kind of guarded, but as soon as we share first and their guard comes down and they're like, I'll talk to you. I would have talked to me. Someone in my 40s, it was like, hey, I went through the same thing. Here's how I came out on the other side. And now we provide mentorship to teenage girls. We don't have letters, but we are trusted women that have been through that exact thing. And that's who they talk to. And it is magic when we have our events and nobody has letters.
That is magic. And that's not to say that the letters aren't valuable as well and the research isn't valuable and all of that, but the felt experience of I'm not alone in this, someone else has experienced this, I'm not uniquely broken, I'm not weird, there's a way out. That's the medicine.
Yes, I created what I could have used when I was a teenager. I was like, who would I have talked to? Another woman, not my mom, love my mom, but everybody, you don't want to talk to your mom about it. My mom won't get it. Our mentors get it. Like, you're talking to someone that is not going to be like, ew, like they did the same exact thing. So I created what I could have used. And that's why I went through my mess. I know it.
Yeah. There's purpose in it. There's purpose looking back. I find it fascinating that as a somatic coach, when you started relating to your body differently, when you could actually inhabit your body, is
Yes.
when you found your purpose.
Yes, when I stopped punishing my body, when I started
Yeah.
working out for movement and mental clarity instead of punishment and running for
Yeah.
PRs. And I just, for what, Jay? I wasn't training for a marathon, but I would like hold myself to these 2-a-day standards. And I was an athlete my whole life, but I never felt 100% comfortable in my body until my late 30s. And I always said I would have switched places with any woman in the room to not be me. And I can finally say now, I don't want to switch places with anyone. And that came at a cost of my marriage. I'm no longer with my husband, but I've also never felt more like me and aligned and happy with who I am. And it did start with the body image journey, which opened up the whole mental health. I'm looking at my sobriety. Like there's so many other things when you get the big thing off your mind.
I mean, that was the thing when I was thinking about the list of the things that you've talked about publicly. It's so many things. It is your sobriety. It is filing for divorce in your 40s as you've started to come to know yourself. It is the perfectionism. It's all these things that I know the person listening has at least checked one of those boxes. And the piece about being in your early 40s and realizing you got married in your 20s when you were a different version of you. Because so much about what you're talking about is like becoming more and more aligned with yourself in a way that's warm and friendly. Because when you're punishing yourself, you're standing over here. Your body's over here.
You're against yourself.
You're against yourself. Yes. So as you became closer to yourself and with yourself, you saw things had to change.
I don't want to speak for other women, but I would think a lot of women don't know exactly who they are at 24. And I didn't see any of this coming. Again, I wasn't going to share my dark stuff, so I couldn't have seen this unfolding. And if you don't have a partner that is willing to evolve as you evolve, you just kind of accept behaviors for a while. And then for me, Jay, I know we talked about this on my show. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and it came down to like what I was showing her that I was accepting of. And I would think if she was in a relationship and coming home and telling me things that were happening in my marriage, I'd be like, what are you doing? So how can I show her that this is normal? So I couldn't even do it for myself. It took my daughter, and I have a son too, like seeing my behaviors and seeing some of the toxic environment that we were living in. I always say, I want to make it very clear, there was no cheating, there was no domestic violence, but the toxicity of two people who are no longer aligned. And if you're not aligned, Jillian Trekkie was on my show and she said, you have to agree on what is a life well lived. And if you don't both agree on that, someone is always compromising, someone is always resentful. And for a while, when I was 24 and had no ambition, and my ex, he played in the NFL, a life well lived was him playing football and me on his arm. And we were great. But then when I stepped into purpose, it honestly, in his defense, wasn't what he signed up for, because I never saw this coming. I wasn't saying that I wanted to do any of this, but we don't agree on what a life well lived is. And the more that I stepped into speaking, and I wrote a second book, and my purpose, we drifted further and further apart, and trying to stay together for the kids and trying to force what I believe is a life well lived on him just got toxic. And I would say anyone that's staying for the kids, and I'm using quotes, like look at that, look at what they're witnessing, and is that really serving them?
Yeah. And I think that is a way that so many women who have struggled with self-worth and self-identity and all of that do get to actually see something clearly, is you put it on. If this was my friend, what would I tell them? If my daughter is witnessing this, is this what I want her to see? Like, we need the mirror of that other person in order to be able to actually have it really hit.
That made me think of something else. Even if someone's listening and they're not a mother, inner child, I'm sure you do all the inner child work. Find a video of you when you were younger. I keep referencing my show. I'm sorry. Ginger Z from Good Morning America broke down crying because she was like, I never saw a VHS tape. We had nothing growing up. And she goes, I found this video and it's me. And it's this little girl and I'm running around and I'm happy. And I had a similar experience. She's like, I had never seen her. And now I live for her. And so it's like, even if you don't have a daughter, it's like, what would you want that little girl to be accepting of? Because that little girl is you and you're living for her. So,
well, and she's in the room with you every day.
Yes,
that's the thing that I say to my clients all the time. I'm like, in this situation, imagine that that little girl who's in the picture or in the video is actually in the room with you. Would you say or do something differently if she was watching you?
Exactly.
Absolutely, you would.
Exactly. Yes. And once you're cognizant of that, it changes everything. If you can't do it for yourself, which I feel like a lot of people have struggle with that and hyping themselves up, it's like, think of your inner child, or if you have an actual child, what you're showing them. It makes me think of like all the body image stuff. Like I used to see my mom step on the scale and her reaction was either like, yes, or, ugh. And you're like, oh, we step on a little machine and that tells us if we're happy or sad. Or if there was a wedding coming up, she had to go on a diet. And that's all that's showing me is in order to show up to this event and be worthy, you have to be smaller or thinner. You're not worthy as you are. And it's little things that moms don't think about. You think about what you're saying to them, but they are 100% watching you. So I don't have a scale in the house. Just little things like clean your plate. If my daughter's like, can I be done? It's like she's getting a hunger cue saying I'm full and saying, can I be done? My mom would be like, clean your plate. It's like, ignore the hunger cue and then take it a step further, clean your plate to get a treat where food is put on a pedestal and you're earning it by stuffing yourself and you don't think about it. And I used to say, clean your plate. That's always what I heard. But it's like, if they're intuitively eating and we lose that as women because we restrict and we try to diet culture, seeps in, but kids eat intuitively and they're done and they're hungry and they're satisfied. It's like, clean your plate is telling them, it doesn't matter. Like, don't honor your hunger. Yes.
Right.
And then don't give them a treat for don't earn. Food should be neutral. It shouldn't be good or bad or put on a pedestal to earn. Like give them screen time or let them play outside or have a play date. But setting food up to be earned is a red flag. And it's all stuff that like I grew up with and that now as a mother, it's just like, we talk differently. We were raised differently. And if you're cognizant of it, you'll catch it.
So many of my clients, we talk about, self-soothing and what was the conditioning you got about how to manage a really difficult feeling. If you were really sad or you were really scared as a kid, so many of my clients will say, my parents would say, well, let's go get ice cream and you'll feel better. Or let's bake some cookies and you feel better. And it's like, it is coming from the most well-meaning, loving place. And these are those little ways that time after time after time, we get conditioned to have certain relationships. And this is the relationship we get conditioned to have with food because of all those, like you're saying, all those little signs we're taking in, the things we're watching, the things people are saying to us. And if you don't have self-consciousness, you just keep living them.
And Jay, we dealt with that. We're almost the same age. There was no social media. So think about these poor girls who are scrolling and I couldn't either. That was another thing about my foundation. I was like, someone needs to tell these girls, this girl is sitting in a perfectly lit and contorted way. She has 30 other pictures in her camera roll that she didn't post.
At least.
She found the one and you're going to ruin your day because you don't look like that. I start every session. I'm like, she doesn't look like that either. It's angles and lighting and they don't know that. And so they're just scrolling like, if I could just starve myself a little bit more. I tell a story in my first book and I will never tell who it was. Not a huge celebrity, but a public figure was on a flight and she was sitting in front of me and I could see through the seat. So she's thinking there's nobody else next to her. Nobody's watching. And I watched her, which I know now is Facetune, but at that time I didn't know. And this is a thin woman. Let's just say she started thin. She was blowing up a picture of her, like going like this to make it larger and scraping off some thigh, zooming in, scrape off a little thigh, a little arm. And I'm like looking through the thing, like she's going to post it. She's going to post it. I go back, it had 119,000 likes. And there is a girl somewhere like, if I just starve myself a little bit more, I can have arms and legs. I want to be like, she doesn't have arms and legs like that. As awful as that is for her to post it. I think the worst part is this thin model looking woman wasn't confident enough to post a picture of her own body either. So it's so pervasive, like for both people, it's like, we're not confident that we have to just put out what we look like. And this is going to ruin some other teenage girl's life, but she wasn't confident either. It was such a sad thing to witness.
Oh God, my heart is aching in my chest as I hear that story. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
So you're talking about someone who is unwilling to put reality out there in relationship to body image. But to go back to you and your story and your podcast, like you mentioned, your podcast and your book used to be called Squats and Margaritas. Mm-hmm. And that was the part of your evolution you were in there when you were like, hey, this is about balance. This is about like you get to exercise and you get to like treat yourself and have fun.
Yes.
That is so not who you are now. Like now you're sober, right? Or sober curious, sober-ish.
I will be completely honest. I've not found sobriety. Sober-ish totally works. Yes.
Okay. Sober. But like, you're not out there saying squats and margaritas anymore. You're out there saying purpose. And this is maybe me projecting. I'm going to just name it here. This question is projection. Is there a part of you who judges you for your, I'm going to just call it messiness for shorthand there, like how you've presented yourself this way. And then a few years later, you're this way. And then like, is there a part of you that judges you for that?
There was. I think I finally gotten to the point of seeing it as a journey, a necessary journey to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And it did take, I stand by squats and margaritas for changing my body physically. And that led to the transformation of finding my self-worth and purpose. And it was no longer restricting, have the cocktail. And I stand by balance. Squats and margaritas is balance. What happened was when the pandemic hit, there was no balance. Like I was just drinking every day and I would find myself pouring drinks earlier in the day. And I'm like, I had a 2 and a 4-year-old. There's no school. There's no playgrounds. I couldn't go to the gym. And I leaned into drunk mom on TikTok, quarantini. That's when I kind of grew my social media following, to be honest, because I would just do funny, we drink because it's quarantine. It's very cringy now, but I share those videos to just be like, I started looking at it and again, I'm perimenopausal. Like alcohol is not helping me in this stage of life. And I was affected more. And I want to say I was not, people that hear me talk about it, especially like my sisters who are stronger at drinking and not being hungover, I will say the next day, they're like, you're not even a big drinker. But I didn't feel good. So I started looking at it and I was like, if I'm going to look at it, I should talk about it. But you'll get this, Jay, as a podcast host, you work so hard and growing a brand. And Hey Wait is everywhere, and that Squats and Margaritas was everywhere. I was like, how do I pivot? And I had Gabby Bernstein on my show, and I was like, I just feel like I'm getting these hits to stop drinking, and she's sober. And I was like, but it's gonna kill my brand. And she very like directly was like, fuck your brand. This is an evolution. It doesn't kill it elevates you. And you sharing it.
Rise. It's not a pivot, it's a rise. I remember.
That was, yes. And you're not, now you're this and now you're that. She was like, lean into that. And Jay, I never had the numbers or the podcast that I have now at Squats and Margaritas. And I was like, I'm walking away from Squats and Margaritas. And Katie Couric was on Squats and Margaritas. And it's so like important. Right. That did nothing. Like when I stepped into thERINpy and here I am, and that is what resonated. Again, it's hard for me to like be, like judge it, because that is what got me out of the mess. Like stop restricting. And I wouldn't drink a margarita with the calories and the sugar and I would have all the shame. It's like, have what you want, listen to your body. And when I calmed down, all the cortisol went down, the stress hormone that you're holding on to and that is causing you to hold on to fat. There were so many, like me overworking was working against me. And I knew so many women that were frustrated and I was like, I can help them. And so sharing that, and I could have just stayed in Squats and Margaritas, but it's like, when you finally come to a point of acceptance and just sharing all the mess of it, is like, how can I be Squats and Margaritas and like barely drink anymore? So I started saying it. And now I have other moms. I feel like it's a thing now. Like sobriety is like the new thing to be. And I don't know if that's just my algorithm. It's like things that I look at, but I just, yes. And again, at 43, I just feel so much better. There's nothing that beats waking up feeling completely clear. Again, I wasn't waking up hungover, but like, nothing beats a great night's sleep. And it's like, why would I pour a glass of wine at night and mess with my sleep? Like nothing is worth that to me anymore. And maybe Squats and Margaritas served me in my 20s and 30s. And now in my 40s, I've evolved.
Hey, wait, I want to take a quick break to tell you about something I genuinely love and think you might too. And yes, this is an ad, but I promise to only ever share products I actually use made by people I trust. So let me tell you about Saint Solaire. This is the sunscreen I use on my face every single day, and not just because I should, but because I actually want to. It's lightweight, not greasy, and it makes my skin feel moisturized. And I happen to use the tinted version, which doubles as a lightweight foundation, but there's a non-tinted one too. And this sunscreen checks all the boxes. It's organic, non-GMO, cruelty-free, reef-safe, made with clean anti-inflammatory ingredients that are proven not to mess with your hormones. And instead of causing breakouts, it actually heals them. And the bonus? I know the woman who created this, and she is an absolute gem of a human and the kind of person that you would be happy to support. So if you're like me and you want to protect your skin year-round without putting on greasy gunk that's toxic and disrupts your endocrine system, check out saintsolaireskincare.com and use Hey Wait for 15% off. And I'll drop that link in the show notes so it's easy for you to find. All right, back to the show. Listening, thinking about the quote, like, people don't change. It's like, well, some people don't change. But I think a lot of people do change. The ones that don't are afraid of the mess. The ones that do usually hide the mess. And so we have this cultural belief that people don't change because we don't see it. Because it is, as someone who I've been self-employed since I was right out of college. I've always been a writer. I just recently was a podcaster, but I was always a writer. I was always sharing my stuff publicly. And God, there were so many times where I was like, oh my, I have pivoted so many times. I have changed so many times. My dad used to joke that he had more business cards for me in his wallet than any other kinds of cards. He was like, you're always doing something else. But that's the nature of being someone who values growth and relating. Like if you value growth and you value other people, I think there's just something wired in you that's like, oh shit, I'm going to have to share this.
And when you realize you're not alone, like sharing it. And I guess if I would have shared, the bulimia was probably the biggest, like scariest thing. If nobody would have DM'd me and be like, like I would just be like, maybe I shouldn't have. The outpouring of people are like, me too. My husband doesn't even know. I was like, okay. And now with sobriety, like I show me like holding a bottle and all, like, this is where I used to come from, to show whoever's looking at it, like you can do it and you can change. And if I can be an example of that, but if I didn't get the DMs that I got and the reviews on my first book, maybe it would have been harder for me to share it and be completely open. But because of the support and just feeling like I'm not alone, but it's like those people needed someone to say it so they could say it. So they could be like, oh my God, me too. I've never told anyone. I was like, great. I have this superpower that I can be vulnerable only now, never had it before, but I've found that if I share, it feels so like indulgent. Like on my show, I get to have these incredible psychologists on and ask what I want to hear and get coaching from these incredible people. It's helping other people. I know. Brilliant. I'm like, what do you guys want to learn about? I get to these like dating coaches and like perimenopause doctors. I get to, and then I'm like, if I'm questioning it and I have these weird questions, like disgusting, but I have to carry deodorant now at 43. Never had to do that before, but I'm like, my body is changing.
You're
and I'm like, I don't know if this is weird.
again.
Yes, it's like a second puberty. And I'm like, this is not a problem that I've ever had. But so, somebody DM'd me about that. Like, I didn't know that was perimenopause. So any question that I'm kind of not sure about, there's somebody else. Yeah. So I feel like I'll ask the question, let somebody else get the answer. And I get to do this every week and talk to the people that are at the top of all these like areas. It's a no-brainer. Like, of course I'm going to keep being open and vulnerable. And it is, I know, I would say if it helps someone, but I know it's helping people. And I found my lane. And I thought it was squats and margaritas so much. I was like, that's why I went through it, to help women find their best body. And I sat with that for like 4 years. And then I was like, I don't know.
We're moving on.
We're moving on. And we did. Yeah.
The thing that my mentor said to me, Nancy Dreyfus, who I've mentioned many times on the show, she said, you were born someone who believes and like holds to the fact that an acorn becomes an oak tree. Like there is something in you, in your core, that has always believed in an acorn becoming an oak tree. And you designed your entire life around that. At the time, she was telling me that because the person I was with did not have that orientation. And this is kind of going back to your thing about being in your 40s and realizing who you should be with. She was like, why, when this is the core value of your life, and all your friends and all the people you work with and your work, like your work for 2 decades has been this. Why would you ever be around someone who doesn't have that orientation?
I can answer that. Like, not for you, but for me,
Yeah, for
because
you.
I'm listening to you. And I would use, instead of acorn to oak tree, I would use caterpillar to butterfly, just because
Right.
that's my spirit
Blue butterfly.
animal. Because you made vows and you brought children into the world with this person that signed up for a different version of you. And then you weren't always, I would say I wasn't always like the caterpillar becomes a butterfly or the acorn becomes an oak tree. And now I know that that is how I live and what I believe, but I also made vows, better or worse, to be with this person. So that's why you don't lean into it. And that's why you stay. And I had a lot of shame about that and guilt over that.
Yeah.
It's like, do you pick your purpose or your soul's purpose or your marriage? Like, you would hope that you wouldn't have to choose, but if you do, what do you choose? Like, it's hard.
Yeah. Hard is an understatement. That's like core level identity stuff that is really scary and triggering at the level of your nervous system. Like, this is not stuff that you can think through. So actually with that, when I was on your show, at the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And you were like, well, I can come on your show and we could do coaching. I was like, oh, yes. So when I asked you what you wanted to coach about, you had mentioned just that right there, which was like being in this, you're in a divorce, you filed, but not knowing, are you going to go through with it? You also talked about how you're noticing you're like the awkward AF version of you around people when you're
when I'm rarely interested.
When you're finding like, oh gosh, that person could be interesting to me, then you're like, turn into.
If I'm not interested in you, you will love me. If I am, you will be afraid. Like, that is what it comes down to.
I kind of want, I don't know if we can splice it into the episode, but on your Instagram, you posted something about, it was like I'm like,
that girl, the dating girl?
The dating girl. It was a girl on a dating television show.
Ronnie.
In the 80s.
She's like, I'm fun. Let's go to Vegas because I'm fun. And yes, that's who I am. That is actual footage.
She was like, I know. And I think that was your caption, actual footage of me.
That's what happens.
Oh my God, if I can find that and put it in here. I'm crying. It was so funny.
It's me. I felt it in my soul.
it is someone listening as well. I guarantee you. And it's me. I have totally been the person where you walk away from an exchange and you're like, what the F was I just doing?
Yes. I try to find a common ground and then I lean in hard on it. Like the last time, my kids are biracial and this man happened to be, and I was like, what was it like to grow up as a biracial kid? Like I was interviewing, like I was Oprah, Jay. What was it like to grow up as a biracial child in California? And he was like, and then I walked away, I was like, what are you doing? But I was like, if he can see that my kids are that's our common ground. I get so in my head that I have to find something to like make him interested. And so, I like basketball. Do you like basketball? But where if I was just normal and like, if I'm not interested in them, I would just talk to them about
like a person.
Just normal. But if I think they're attractive, it's like, Ronnie comes out and I can't stop her. And I'm like, shut up. But I also never been on a date since I was 24. So I don't know how to
that's a
flirt. It's awful. It's awful.
Okay. So honestly, when I was thinking about, well, what are we going to do? How am I going to coach you? I was thinking of all the things.
You're wondering how?
I've already got like 10 sessions of coaching in on you in my head. I'm like, I know exactly where I would go. But here's the thing. I always start the exact same way in the first session with a person. And I realized, this is the place to start. Because here's the thing that I believe is true about you and is true about everyone who comes to me. You, as I said earlier, are a very smart person. You have done a lot of work. I mean, you literally have a show where you've spoken to
me doing the work.
Experts all over the world with you doing the work. You've read all the books. You are into this. And yet, and I say this with love in my heart for you.
Please.
You're still doing some of the old behaviors of like,
yes.
I know I've heard you on your podcast, I don't know how many times, talk about like taking care of your little girl or setting boundaries, your inner little girl, setting boundaries, all these things. And yet you're still struggling with them. And this is true for so many people. And it's because of dun, 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 your nervous system, because you can know better. You can know all the stuff. And if your body is going, oh shit, you can't set a boundary here. If your nervous system is setting the imperative, that's like,
the answer.
You will die if you do this. It doesn't matter how much you know, because Erin Washington, you know a lot.
Thank you. I couldn't place like why, and I talk to dating coaches or relationship coaches all the time. I'm like, I have never been happier with who I am, and I know my value, but why do I still need someone that I'm interested in to tell me, to value me? Like, look how great, I'm great, but why aren't you saying I'm great? Like, it didn't make sense in my mind. I'm not trying to get validation that I'm great from him. I have it. Why do I need him to see it? And I think you're hitting, my nervous system won't let me. Yes.
Well, it's the same thing about you did a show, for the person listening, you did a show about your perfectionism recently and how you can't go to bed at night unless everything in the kitchen is cleaned up, put away, the dishes are done, the counters are clean. And you were like, my perfectionism is for no one else. Like, there is no one you're trying to impress. You're home alone with your kids. They don't care. They want you to come up and put them to bed. I heard you saying over and over to this person, you're like, I'm not doing this for anybody else. And I was like, I wanted to be like, Erin, it's your nervous system.
What do I do? How do I settle? Okay. You're right. It's for my nervous system to settle. And if there are dishes or something, I can't go to sleep and be settled or watch a show. And when I keep referencing settle, I'm trying to regulate my nervous system. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So let's go. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right. So let's imagine there's a scale 1 to 5. Yeah, you're buckling up.
Yeah.
Scale 1 to 5. 5 is overfunctioning. 5 is anxiety. 5 is your heart rate's sped up. You feel sped up inside. I mean, really, it's the overfunctioning. It's the, So 1 is the end of the spectrum where it's like you're apathetic, you're withdrawn. You would see your best friend on your phone, like calling you, and you'd be like, oh, I can't even. And you just want to like crawl into the bed, under the covers, and not deal with the world. 3 is you settled in your language. That's you regulated. That's you when you're alert but calm, when you're open and curious, when you feel in your own skin and comfortable. So that's the scale 1 to 5. My question for you is, where are you on that scale right now in this moment? Where would you put yourself?
I was going to answer it differently. In this moment.
Well, were you going to say where are you normally?
I was going to say I've never met 3. 3 has never happened. 5 is my normal, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've been like a 1, and I've seen like I can tell by when I take my kids to school if my urges just come back and go back to bed.
Bleh.
Yes, right. I have just had that, but most of the time it's at a 5 level, admittedly.
Yeah.
Never am a 3. It's either like a low, like I'm been at 5 too long and I have to go down to 1 to rest.
That's exactly why someone goes to 1.
Okay.
That's exactly why someone goes to 1.
There's never a 3. Like, I never can tell. I can't ever. I am very present with you right now, but I know at 2:35, I can't ever stop going ahead so that and it's like if I address it, like, yeah, I'm going to get her leash, leave at 2:35. Now that I've addressed it, that can leave and be more quiet, and now we can lock in more. I always have that.
But I can feel it in you as like rev. Like,
yes.
As you said, you are calm in the sense that you feel like you're comfortable, but I can feel that you're like zzz, and you speak fast. You talk fast, you move fast. That's all 5. And that's a very common place for, especially why I said you're a woman after my own heart. And you fit the bill of who I have been, who my clients are. It's that perfectionistic, overfunctioning, good girl. You got to be a 5 to keep that shit up. Like,
yeah. I don't want to be that. How did you heal?
So let's play. I'll go back to my first question. Where on a scale 1 to 5 right now, where would you put yourself?
4.
And how do you know that? Like, what's the information that tells you?
I just feel like my heart's racing right now. Maybe because we're talking about this. Like, we have a pumpkin fun run tonight. I got to get the kids. We got to change, go back and do a mile run. It's never. Like,
it never stops.
Maybe if nothing was happening after this, say the kids were going to my ex and I didn't have anything tonight, maybe I would be lower. But I'm always like sitting on what's about to happen. Like what I have to deal with later. And because I have some things happening after this, maybe that's putting me at a higher number. I can't just, if I had nothing today, I would probably be more chill. But there's no day where I don't have nothing. So there's not going to be
You're
ever
a woman in
chill.
your 40s. There's never a day that's going to be that. Sorry.
And even if it is, I'm still perimenopausal. So I'm still just going to be like irritable.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.
Okay.
I'm going to say
so
4.
You're 4, and you know primarily because your heart's racing. And it sounds like your head's racing too. Like it just doesn't stop up there either.
That's my constant. Like head is always that way. But sometimes I'm more regular. I'm a little more too much than normal on my heart. What's not my head,
heart rate.
My body. Okay.
Yeah. So let's do what I call the ABCs. And these are 3 different practices. And one might be better than the other for you. This is just exploration. I don't care if you like them or you don't like them, or they work, they don't work. We're just playing. Okay.
Okay.
So these are for self-regulation. A stands for awareness. And what I want you to do is actually take your eyes off the screen. And for the person listening, do this with us. Like, check this out. Take your eyes off the screen and just look around the room you're in. And you can actually like turn around. You can turn your head. And I notice things like the quality of the light in the space. Notice some, maybe 2 or 3 things that you see that are blue. And when you're looking around, I want you to see if you can also feel that you're the one doing the looking. Like here you are in your body in this space. Maybe you take a deeper breath. Maybe you notice the temperature of the room and whether your hands are cold. Just kind of be the one doing the looking around your space.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think something's already wrong. I feel like I'm watching myself do it. Like I'm not the one.
Okay.
Is that telling you anything?
That's telling me
it doesn't
that
feel like I'm the one doing it. It feels like I'm watching me do it.
My guess from doing this with thousands of people is that your perfectionist has showed up and is going, am I doing this right? And so you're like looking at yourself doing it to determine if I'm doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so here's the thing. A might not be your jam. And that's okay. That's why we're exploring them. Okay. So that was A, awareness. B stands for body. And this could be anything that reminds you have a body. For right now, I'm actually going to have you just shake your arms. Like, that seems weird and awkward. I can tell by your face you're like, this is weird.
Feels good.
So
it's okay.
Feels good. Okay. You can shake your arms. You can pound your fist on your chest. And actually then like you could take them down to your legs. So this isn't about fixing anything or figuring anything out. It's about like sensation. I have legs. I'm sitting in a chair. There's 2 legs. I feel them. You hear the sound of touching them. You feel the sensation of it on your hands and your legs. And actually maybe you could even then bring your hands up like you were giving yourself a hug and you just kind of rub up and down or you squeeze. Like go for what feels pleasant. If it's a squeeze or this rubbing, you might notice again that you get a spontaneously deeper breath. Maybe you still feel like you're being really self-conscious. Just notice what you feel. And maybe one last thing here for body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable or leave them open and just give yourself a little neck rub. And if you happen to be like me and you're a jaw clencher, you might even stretch your...
How did you know?
I can see it.
Do you grind your teeth? Just me.
No, I don't. But I just clench the hell out of... Okay. So that's B. Now C is the last one. C stands for centering with care. And what I'd like you to do is to place your hands either on your chest, your belly, one of both, whatever feels most pleasant to you.
Good.
Okay, so you chose your belly. And you can close your eyes or have them just focus on nothing in particular. And I want you to bring to mind someone or something or some place that genuinely makes you happy. Like no static about this. It's just clean, pure happiness. And you'll know you found it, my dear, when you get a little bit of a smile on your face because you feel happy just thinking about it. Can you find something? How about
Any
because this can,
vacation I went to, like a location, I thought of like my family, and then that made me sad. I can't find my happy place. It's like Happy
okay.
Gilmore. Where's my
No, I'm
happy
glad
place?
you said this because that's sometimes the case for people. Do you have a pet?
Yes.
That one's usually pretty easy.
Harvey. Okay.
Like imagining your pet doing something silly or laying in a piece of the
Got it.
sun on the carpet. You got it? Okay. So there's the smile on your face that tells me you do have it. Now I want you to see if you can hold this image of your pet in your mind's eye and then let yourself feel not just the smile on your face, but what it feels like in your body. And you don't have to answer this out loud, but just notice if it's warm or it's cool, it's heavy or it's light, smooth or edgy. And then see if you had like a volume dial, you could turn up the feeling of that,
Ooh.
connecting to that happiness. So it wasn't just in one part in your body. It could spread as big as it could go. And then before I have you open your eyes again and come back and tell us what that was like, I want you to check in on that scale of 1 to 5 and to see where you are on the scale now and how you know that. So when you're ready, you can...
A 2 or a 3. Like I'm...
What?
Yeah. That way. And I could feel it. Like, it's like once you can tap into that feeling, then you can move it. You can expand it. Like, I like that. I also will say a couple of times during this episode, you have taken a deep breath, and it makes me realize I never breathe that way, ever. My breath is always like, I'm just, right. I never breathe. Yeah. And like sometimes when I take an exercise class, I don't do that anymore. When the coach would be like, all right, breathe, remember to breathe. I'd be like, oh God, like, thank God he said that because I wasn't breathing. That reminded me to breathe. I'm always holding my breath.
Yeah.
I never do like a deep cleansing breath like that. And I keep meaning to say it when I hear you. I don't do that.
Did you notice during any of the ABCs that you got a spontaneously deeper breath?
Yes, during the A, which I felt like I wasn't connecting with. Because once you said it, I was like, that just happened to me. Yes.
So when you get a spontaneously deeper breath like that, that's a sign that your parasympathetic nervous system is coming on board. Because if you're always in a 5 and you're in that high rev and you're not breathing, and you just give yourself that, it's called orienting, like looking around, taking your eyes out of that like beady-eyed little, like, because when your nervous system is dysregulated, tunnel vision is the thing, because it's like, how do I keep myself safe? How do I keep myself safe? It's not what you're consciously thinking. But if you can just move your eyes around the room and also turning your head, so your vagus nerve is in your neck, and that is when it's stimulated, the part that's in your neck is stimulated, is part of your social engagement system, which helps you feel more regulated, which is why I think a lot of people do that thing where they like, when they get stressed, they like cock their head one side or the other.
Yeah.
Because there's like, if you activate your neck in that way, there is a way that it's kind of sending a message to your nervous system, like, oh, there's a regulation happening. So anytime you get a spontaneously deeper breath or a sigh, like I saw you get in the A, something was working. But then what happened is you started to turn, your head started being
went back
like,
in my head.
what am I
like,
doing?
Why are you looking around? This is weird. Yeah. I talked my body out of it, out of calming down. My head was like, no, we're stressed. We're 5.
Exactly, which is what our nervous system do. So here's one thing that you probably know. Our nervous system doesn't care about growth.
No.
Or transformation. Like, that's zip. It cares about that at all. It cares about survival. So when you start to do something different, whether it's looking around the room and you've never done that before, or whether it's setting a boundary, your nervous system is going to go, Erin, nope. We have never done this, and we are alive and well, so don't F with this. Just keep doing what you do.
And it's to my nervous system, level 5 is safety and security. Like, we feel good here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because all of
Oh,
those, and this is where if we were working together, we go into like all those strategic selves, the perfectionist, the people pleaser, all those parts of you who came online to make sure you're safe, they all operate at a 5. Erin operates at a 3. And this is that. So let me come back to the centering with care. It took you a minute to find something that wasn't charged with other feelings, which is totally common. But when you found your dog, what did you notice happened in your body?
I softened. My shoulders went down. They're always up. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
softened.
no,
That's what I noticed. And was it warm? Was it cool? You said you could move it.
I couldn't feel a temperature because I was like, I
Uh-huh.
don't have an answer to that, but it didn't feel sharp. It was like sharp or smooth. It just felt like a softness was moving around, not like a temperature. Like I'm always like tense, and it was like softening, a softening.
You slowed down. When you came out and you were talking and I asked you about what your experience was, you weren't talking as quickly. And I mean, that's an actual, well, let me stop there. How does that feel to hear that? You went,
Great. So I
oh,
just got to think of Harpy. I rescued her. So she has such a like, and I rescued her when I filed for divorce. So it's just like me and Harper. Like she is my
her name's
safety.
Heartbeat.
Her name is Oh, that would be cute. Harper is what the
Oh, I thought you said
shelter.
Heartbeat. I was
No, I was
like,
like,
that's
that
not
should
anything.
change it to Heartbeat. Harper was the name the shelter gave her, and I kept it, but we call her Harpy Girl. But when my
Harpy.
kids go back and forth, Harpy, it's me and Harpy. And she like, I don't know if you have a dog or people say rescue
Cat.
dogs know that they're rescued. Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
have a
like she
rescue
knows
cat.
I went and got her out of there. So no
You better
matter what,
believe it.
she's right with me. And so and right now when I don't feel like I have a lot of that, I've had some tension with my kids because they blame me for them going back and forth.
Right.
Harpy is my my
Usually pets are a pretty easy way. That
yeah.
or like your hammock or, like people will often come
Yeah.
up with a place where, so, so Harpy is a resource for you.
I
And I,
think
and I say
so.
this total seriously. If you bring her to mind and not just mind, but like actually feel what it feels like to see her, pet her, and feel it in your body, you get to a 3. Holy shit. For a woman who just a few minutes ago said, I don't think I've ever met myself in a 3. All it took was some ABCs. And I really think for you, it was mostly the C that did it.
What was the
That's
C
what it
again?
looked
For
like.
what? What is C
The
for?
centering with care. That was the
Centering.
one where I
Okay.
had you put your hands on your belly and you thought about
Yeah.
Harpy. That
Yeah.
was the one that really
I want to get
changed.
her right now. Yes. Now I have a tool. Like when I'm feeling too charged, revved. When you said revved, I
Yeah,
connect, like I'm
that's the
revved all the
word.
time. And my husband would say it. He'd be very reactive to me. Like I'd feel like I walked in and was like, hey, and he'd be like, huh, like, you're so, and I didn't notice it. My daughter is very reactive to me because I guess I'm 100 miles an hour and I don't even realize, or I'll be like, oh, I'll react to something and it feels like normal to me, but to somebody else, they're like, who is more
Whoa.
regulated, it's like charged. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and
Okay.
we co-regulate with people, which is why you said like, "Oh, I'm noticing you're breathing and it's reminding me to breathe." But we also can, because we co-regulate with people, we can dysregulate the people we're around, or they can dysregulate us.
Yes.
If they're
Yes.
always a 5 or they're always a 1, it can be really hard to be a 3 around that person. But your job now is to do that centering with care, however, whatever you want to call it. Just put your hands on your belly, think about Harpy, let the feeling of the smile go into your body. And I
Yeah.
want you to do that a couple times a day. It doesn't take more than 10 seconds. You can stay as long as you want, but just do that, because what I witnessed was like, the way I would describe it is you like dropped, your energy dropped out of your head back into your body. As it did that, your body softened, your belly softened, your chest got like a little more open, and you slowed down. And I
Yes.
guarantee you a couple things. One, the people in your life, your kids will feel that when you do that.
Yes.
And two, when you are a 3, that was confusing to say. And two, when you're in 3, when you are a 3,
And also when you were a
and also,
three.
thank you, when you're in a 3 is when you have access to all the stuff you know. Because you do know, I mean, I've been listening to your podcast. You know everything that I could teach you about how to be there for your little girl, how to set boundaries. Like you've talked to every expert in the world about all this stuff. When you, nice breath, when you get to a 3 is when you have access to that information.
I can tap in. Yeah. It's like, it's all there sitting at 3 and I'm at 5, like, but all the knowledge, just if I could just come back
it's
down.
It's actionable at 3. Because at 5, you still know it, but at 5, you can't do it. It's the I know better and I can't do better.
That's
and then
what
it makes
is.
you more of a 5 because you're like, what the
You're
F?
frustrated
I
that you
know
can't.
this.
Yes. And I can say the right things, but I can't feel it. When you said you dropped out of your head, like that is the life goal. Like I wish I could leave my head and just be present in my body. And I know there's like grounding. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you smell? Mm-hmm. It's so hard for me to do, or meditate, turning off this grocery list.
No. If you're a 5, you can't meditate.
You can't. Thank you. Anyone can meditate. And I'm like, and it's not about clearing. I said, I can't clear my head. And a therapist was like, meditation is not thinking of nothing. Meditating is thoughts come and then you welcome the thoughts and you.
But if you're a 5, you can't sit still to meditate.
You're know.
Like I used to go, I lived in a place that had a punching bag and I would go on days that I was a 5, I would go use the punching bag and then I would sit and meditate because I had to get some of that activation out. That's the B part in the ABCs. B is body, like shake, get up and jiggle, go splash water on your face, do something that will help you get a little lower so that you can then do something that's more still. And breathing is the same way. A lot of people can't get to deep breaths when they're a 5 or a 1. And then they think, well, something's wrong with me because I can't breathe deeply. It's like, no, doing any of those ABCs, the natural outcome of that is that you take a deeper breath. Okay. Your nervous system instigates it rather than you using the breath to tap your nervous system, if that makes sense.
Yes. It's going to lead to it. It's like you can't do it. Like you need to do those things to get to a deep breath. It's like you said, you judge yourself for not being able to take a deep breath. It's like you're not living how you want to live. And then you're judging yourself for that. So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah. It's the second arrow, as they say in Buddhism.
Yes.
Right. It's like, and then it keeps spiraling the 5. You just stay there until you drop and you're a 1. And then you get your ass back up and the 5 turns back on. So this is what I want for you, because there was something that you shared in your story earlier today where you said when you were 37 and you learned how to actually be in your body rather than punishing your body is when purpose turned on. Like everything shifted. This is just me like making a big ass claim here. I think if you can get in your body and be a 3, I don't even know what's possible for you. It's beyond what we can say, right?
That is promising.
Can you feel inspiring. That, though? I mean, you were only there for like 3 minutes today, but can you feel?
Now I know how to get there from you.
Yes, I see there.
Because you described it like you have all this knowledge from all these people, but you can't institute it because you live at a 5 and the knowledge lives at the 3. I'm too high. If I can just regulate down where the knowledge lives, it's like I can tap into it. I have this knowledge that I can't use because I'm too highly revved.
Yeah, you're in survival. Yes. And nobody uses that knowledge in survival.
I always like, when I'm not perimenopausal, when the divorce is final, I always have like these reasons why I'm in survival, but it's like, no, you're always like, I'm like this on a road trip. Like we're driving to vacation and I'm like, what? There's a faster way. Like I can never just chill. Like there's no imminent threat. The road trip I'm referencing, we were married. There was but I can't just chill and just let things play out. I'm always like thinking ahead and trying to control. And I don't know where that comes from or why I have to live that way, but I don't want to live that way.
Yeah.
And you've given me a tools, plural.
Tools.
Yeah. To be able to.
Really, like this is here's the hey, wait, right? When you're going through your day, hey, wait, where am I on that scale?
Yes.
Because if you're anything above a 3.5, 4, take a moment to shake your body, put your hands on your belly and think a heartbeat. Like call yourself back. And as you do that, you're going to start finding other things that get you there as well. But
I have a question
there. Yeah.
So when I'm thinking of like where I'm at during the day, where I'm most 5, well, I'm always, let's say, is there a 6? Because if there was.
Right, sure. Let's go 6.
When 6. My daughter, doing my daughter's hair, getting her ready to go out the door for school. Jay, it is, my poor son is just like, It's not the right
What's
ponytail.
happening?
It's not, yeah, it is chaos. And so it's like, do I do it before I'm about to open the door to wake her up? Do I do my work? Or it's like when she, for lack of a better term, comes at me about the ponytail capabilities, I can't just be like, hold on. I'm going to my house. Where's the dog? Like, or do I do it before? When do I,
So
is it when I'm triggered?
Do it before. Do it before.
It's preventative.
So it's a little bit like brushing your teeth.
Cautionary. Okay.
Right? Like brush your teeth twice a day at least.
It's maintenance.
Right? So
work.
do it as maintenance. Do it right before you go in. But also like when you're with her and you're in hair apocalypse, like
hair apocalypse.
you could take your eyes off of her head for a moment and just look around the room and like, what are 3 things that I see that are blue? I feel my breath reset and then I'm back in it. Or you could say, I'm going to wiggle my toes in my shoes, feel my butt on the sofa so that it's not all this thing that's her hair and your hands and like that becomes everything, and the time and the bus is coming and all the whatever, like, all that stuff is happening. You add layers to it that are okay. So a layer that is neutral and okay is that you can feel your toes wiggling in your shoes. A layer that is neutral and okay is that you feel your butt on the sofa. Like you have to use your body to tune into something else that's going on in that present moment that's just neutral, because that tells your brain, yes, it's true that in this moment I have a life and death situation going with my daughter's hair for whatever reason.
Every single day.
It's also true that I can feel my back body. You just even sat up straighter as they said that. Like, it's also true that I can feel my back body, or I can feel my feet on the floor. And that will tell your brain, oh, not everything is urgent. Not everything is life and death. I'm actually okay here. And it will help you not rev as high.
You know what this may be wrong, the wrong assumption, but what I do right now is I take myself out of the situation, what my therapist tells me to do with her. And it's probably like telling my brain, like, this is unsafe. I have to leave.
Yes.
Instead of just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, she's yelling, I'm leaving, like fight or flight. It's me walking out. It's probably like, see, this is very scary. We have to run away, instead of me wiggling my toes or doing something and staying. I never stay because sometimes I can't take it anymore. And I want to show her, you're not going to talk to me like that. So if she says, for example, this is the stupidest ponytail I've ever seen, I'm going to take it out when I get to school. Mm-hmm. I can just wiggle my toes, take it. I would just typically leave, walk out, or say, you're not going to speak to me that way. I can just kind of regulate myself, but stay in the moment. So I'm not telling my body this is a scary situation and we are unsafe.
Mm-hmm. I'm here. There's a part of me who's here who's okay. This is not my entire reality.
Yeah.
Her saying these things.
It's
like you add a layer in, because most people do what you do. They leave. They leave by overthinking. They leave by walking out.
That was the best thing to do. Like de-escalate, walk out, take some space.
But then a way that is not that different than limiting what you eat, or, like those are all ways that you are leaving yourself by drinking. Mechanisms.
They're like coping. It's like a strategy to mitigate what I'm feeling.
Think about 3 on that scale as being sober and present.
Yeah.
Because everything else is lack of sobriety, in the sense of,
that's a great analogy. Yes.
Yeah, you're not
I'm doing it. I'm like, trying to put something but I don't want to like say something back to her. So I'm like, let me just walk out and okay. That's a beautiful analogy. It's sobriety, and anything else is like taking a shot, like trying to numb or pass it. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's funny. At the end of the show, I always ask how someone stays with themselves when they're around other people. And I didn't tell you I was going to do that. We just did a little practice about how to stay with yourself. Is this it? Is this how you're going to stay with yourself when you're around other people? Or do you have another way that you do that?
I've never considered that question. Staying with myself, like true to who I am, or like present in my body when I'm with other people?
Present in your body when you're with other people.
Never thought of that. I feel comfortable around other people. Well, mornings before school.
Not so much.
I don't feel, but like socially, I never think about, dating.
Yeah, I know. This is where I want to have you back, Because I think this is,
that's a different me. Like, I don't even,
yeah,
most of the time, I'd never consider that question because I'm so comfortable around other people, because I'm so rarely attracted to someone. On
yeah.
those instances when I am, absolutely not comfortable, not in my body, watching me ask the weird questions, embarrassed and can't stop talking. Yeah, I would need it in that scenario, but it's so like rare that I feel that
Yeah.
way. But I do want to start dating, so I got to fix that. So yeah, maybe I do come back.
Well, and here's the thing. You probably do it more than you know. And I don't mean this as a shitty like put down. I mean it as it's just true that if you are used to losing yourself in that situation of like, I'm attracted to this person or I'm interested in this person, I guarantee you lose yourself around other people.
You're right. I didn't think about that. You're right. There's been some friendships
It just
where
changes the flavor, but it's the same thing.
it just seems like when when I meet a new friend, the dynamic is that I don't want to say they're the leader, like they're the authority on everything. And I'm like, oh, and they could be younger than me, like parenting. It's like, no, do this. And I'm like, oh, and I'm always like just taking it. Like they are the authority. Again, it could be someone that's 6 years younger than me, but I always take the role where I feel like I distance myself from friends because it becomes them telling me, and I allow them to tell me what I should do in my relationship. Here's what you should do with parenting. Oh, not that school. And I'm like, oh, I'll just take their suggestion and not stand 10 toes down in what I feel about it. So yes, You're correct. I do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you'll have to come back for another one.
Are you kicking me out?
Well, you got to go pick up your kids.
I
don't
do.
want you to
I know. It's good. I have to hurry up. Okay. Sorry. Kidding. Anybody that's on audio only, I'm fine. I'm pretending.
So this is your opportunity. You get to take a moment before you go pick them up, practice finding your centered with Sweet Harpy, who just makes it easy for you to feel pure joy and happiness. Like, give yourself that, and then go get your kids and come back and do that again. Like when you brush your teeth again tonight, like since you already your toothbrush, you brush your teeth twice a day, do it then, and then do it any other time you find yourself going, hey, wait, I'm a 5. This has got to calm.
I need like a rubber band or something. 5. Like I'm a 5 until I feel it. But it would be snapped a lot.
Okay.
I would have a bruise.
Maybe not the rubber band.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe something that doesn't cause bodily harm. Maybe just like a little hug.
Oh, thank you. This was an experiment to do a quasi like podcast interview and a little coaching thing. So thank you for being game. Thank you for being with me in the exploration of how that works.
Yeah, and I think that you're great at it.
Well, thank you.
If you see opportunities with whoever you're interviewing and they'll let you, I think that's what you bring. Like some podcasts, it's like just an interview about the person. Like you bring an added layer of like, be like, well, I'm seeing this happening. And I mean, the person would have to be open to it, and not everyone is, but of
course, right.
That's a great thing
my only problem now is like, let's keep going, Erin. We can do this.
No, come back. I love this. So glad that I met you. I'm here. Whatever you need. Well, and if anybody likes this is what my show is. I
was just going to say that exact thing. Do more. Listen to thERINpy. It's really good. You get to learn from the best of the best with someone who's doing the heavy lifting for you.
I'll ask the questions. You get all the answers. And co-parenting, sobriety, anxiety, personal growth, dating, relationships, perimenopause, whatever I am dealing with, I just bring someone on and ask them all my questions. You get all the answers.
It's so good. So brilliant.
Thanks. And I have a great episode with Jay Moonfields that you should check out.
Yeah, it's coming out sometime soon. Well, let me let you go so you can go get your kids. Let me let the listener go. Thank you so much for being here. And till next time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, listener, for being here today. I hope something in today's episode resonated with you and helps you to have a better experience of yourself in your life and your relationships, because you really do deserve that. And if someone came to mind while you were listening today, would you take a moment and share this episode with them right now? And if you have an extra minute and you haven't yet, could you please leave a review for Hey Wait? Because both of those things help new people find the show. And it means a lot to me to be able to reach and connect with new people around this work. And with that, if you have an idea for someone you want me to interview, or a topic you want me to cover, or a question you have, feel free to reach out to me at HeyWait on Instagram. Hey Wait is produced by Scuff Studio, and the original music is by Dalton Grant. And hey wait, before we go, I want to remind you, as always, that your insides matter and the right people will meet you there. So stay with yourself, and I'll see you next time.